Sounds good.
All right. Well, I have to say that Danny is the AI expert, not me as much. So forgive me if I'm not completely understanding everything you're explaining, but I did read your stuff and
Sure.
I read your step by step. So maybe you can
Yeah.
walk us through it
Yeah.
and we'll go from there. You can share screen, by the way.
Well, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in general, what I saw AI helped me do was break through my own perfection bias and imposter syndrome
Mm.
bias. Um, because I'm trying to scale my business through HCU. It's already a teaching business, but I'm looking to scale it to a much wider audience that I have to be persuasive with, or at least be open to them to inspect me to see if I could help them. And I'm trying to represent 35 years of practical experience in doing that. So I was really concerned about getting all the wording just right.
Right.
And I found HCU's process very helpful in kind of getting me going.
Right.
You know, start cut, start cutting wood. The imposter syndrome comes about when you are trying to teach and you realize every time you learn something, there's 10 more things you don't know. And so when you combine those two things together, there is an unvirtuous circle, if you're honest, which says, I'm trying to be my best self in this HCU process, but at the same time, I'm also seeing how much I don't know every time I go forward. And so you can't ever get out of that loop unless you sort of adopt the HCU mindset of trust your clients, trust yourself, and trust the things that you do know. So there's a HCU process whereby you go through iteratively developing those themes and messages and learning to do it. Well, then Chat GPT 4 comes along, and the best way I can describe its impact on my brain in the last 5 weeks, other than it has completely revolutionized my entire thinking, teaching, writing, speaking process. I mean, other than that, what I would say is
Yeah, other than that.
that it's not bad. It's pretty good. And here's ways in which I have learned to use it to supplement what I'm doing with the HCU process. It helped me get through my writer's block in the production of a book that's going to be a central feature of my marketing outreach.
Okay.
I understand all of the step-by-step marketing message channel approach where you build trust, then you make available certain messages and products to let people investigate at their own pace, and leading to what may be a mutually beneficial relationship. A book is a really central feature of my plan because of the ideal clients I have, which require, when all is said and done, book level expertise in the marketplace in order to establish that I'm a serious person. Because
Right.
if you don't have book level knowledge, you can't persuade my clients to listen further because they're working with industrial strength systems, large amounts of money, and all that jazz. So I was struggling with the book, and what the AI helped me do was break through that, the realization of who I was writing for, perfection syndrome, imposter syndrome. As I read the message boards, that is a common feature of honest, humble experts who are trying to do well.
Absolutely.
So here's the thought experiment I did. I have learned to treat artificial intelligence in the form of Chat GPT 4, which is where I'm doing most of my work, as a almost as a cartoon character who's my assistant.
Hmm.
And that cartoon character is my favorite uncle who has read everything that's ever been written, has visited every place that exists, talked to everybody in the world, and has synthesized that into a body of knowledge that he freely shares in perfect English. One moment, I'm tied up for an hour. I will get back to you. And he, so he's favorite uncle, read everything, been everywhere, speaks all languages, and is infinitely patient with answering my questions with exactly the right level of response that is indicated by the question that I asked in the certain form. Like if I ask a simple, honest question, it gives me a simple, honest answer with a couple hooks where I can go further. If I ask a detailed question, it will give me an appropriate level of detail in an outline form with examples and references in the tone that I ask for. So whatever I want, it is perfectly tuned to answering those kinds of questions. So I asked it, well, kindly Uncle AI Chat GPT-4, survey everything you've read and summarize Ken Long's skill set. What is the unique professional skill set he has that a business might be interested in consulting with him? What is it that you can detect? So it read everything out there and in 2 minutes gave me a better resume than I could write. It listed 10 things that I have expertise in that somebody might be interested in partnering with. So now I know who I am according to more or less that objective measure. The next question I asked was, well, if this guy has that list of skills, who would be an ideal client as a small to medium business that could partner with him in order to help them with the problems that they typically have? 2 minutes later, I had a beautiful ideal client description of a professional who's successful, who has generated money in their business, who needs some guidance on how to manage that capital in a professional manner without just handing it over to somebody else to do. So I appeal to sort of independent minded analytical professionals who want to do better than standard money managers. So I now had a profile of ideal client. Now we're about 7 minutes into this effort, right? I then said, well, given the business-like professional expectations of that ideal client, and given what we know about what it takes to have a good trading plan, what would be their professional expectations for the kind of program that a person like me would offer? What would they expect me to offer in order to meet their observed, defined need? List. 15 minutes into it, I have a range of program offerings that ought to appeal to them. I then said, since I can, well, if you were that kind of person and you had these expectations and you needed this kind of consultant, craft me a set of 10 ethical, honorable marketing messages that would introduce my work to them, that would lead them to be more curious and maybe to investigate further under no selling pressure, just as a service to the people. So then I finished, my coffee was done brewing by that time, and I walked into work and I had essentially an improved version of what it took me probably 6 months to fight my way through my own head through the HCU process. And it did a couple things. First of all, it helped me with the typical problems that I see people in the program having. It gave me an idea about how to partner with AI myself in my own professional area, to use it as a power tool rather than as a replacement or to run away from it. It's like how to use a calculator in math class. It was a working example. It also showed me that the HCU process is validated. in the sense that the place that I got to through HCU was pretty close to where the AI took me. And I had the ability to get out of my own head and get some objective validation with an untiring advisor. You know, some of the things you see in the HCU discussion boards is somebody goes through and does the lesson and they put 10 pages of text in there and ask the people for advice, and it's like, well, dude, I'm trying to work through my own stuff. First of all, I'm probably not competent to advise you on your 10-page interim plan, but I want to say something, but I don't know if the feedback I'm going to give you is all that valuable, and you wonder what my edge or what my anyway. So there is sort of a hunger I detect for that kind of patient exploration. But so I say all that simply to say that the use of the AI in that process was really a breakthrough moment for me as an educator.
I think I lost you.
The people, and I've got to find ways to communicate to each of those demographics. So the following that same kind of process, I'm exploring how AI can help me understand my clients better and how to package things for them. Like I can write proposals to them and say, hey, is this the kind of thing you're looking for? You know, to sort of move them towards an understanding of what I can do. Maybe they don't have an idea from where they are of what I can do to help them. So this acts as a way to bridge. So my spider sense is that modern AI is with large language models are sufficiently robust and intelligent that you can use them as power tools to help you build out your business plan prototypes and proposals very quickly. So with that in mind, what I got my little squad of students who I've been teaching for years. And since HCU, I have adopted a new teaching model with them, which has them creating courses about what they already know from me in standalone systems that they trade, with the reasoning being that if you want to learn something, you should try to teach it. So I've actually been using the HCU model to help my students become teachers in their own right, and then sort of demonstrate that what I've taught them is valid because they can now teach other people, and now we're getting results that show all of that is happening. Well, since I want them to be successful forever so that I can earn a small but not insignificant residual from their work as a referral,
Right.
I'm trying to help, I'm helping them set up in businesses and to go through that same HCU model that I've gone through. And so that was what that note to them was to help them think their way through how to define for themselves what their goals were as a service provider, how to quickly generate who their ideal clients might be, and as a way to start stimulating a different way of thinking about what they were doing. They really came to me to learn how to trade for themselves, and now I'm asking them to think about how to be businesslike in the teaching of what you do to others, and that causes a mind expansion that is significant. So I did happen to notice in a couple of the discussion boards that some folks were interested in a general way about the use of AI in the HCU process, and so I've been starting to pay attention to some of those things as I discover what AI can do for me and what it can do for businesses, particularly that are in an education and advisory type of service like I am. It really does help generate resources, generate insights, improves all of the writing, makes it very accessible because you can actually ask the AI to write in a style that is suitable for the audience you're writing for. Like most of the work I do is written like SEO friendly, busy, educated, working professionals that are organizational leaders that need kind of concise, complete bullet comments, applications in the world, and where can I go for more references. Other folks need a different style of or treatment when it comes to messaging. So it seems to me that people that are looking for ways to vary their style of communication could benefit from the use of AI in that way as an assistant, as a partner, as a way to, and frankly, to save them some money on what can be expensive outside support from copywriters or marketing advisors, whatever it may be. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of what I'm doing with AI. I'm
Okay.
actually taking advantage of, I have a lifetime membership with Rizuku at the university pro level. So I have like essentially unlimited courses, unlimited students, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited assistant instructors. And so I now suddenly find myself with all the ingredients needed for a multi-decade knowledge project of people that are learning and teaching together, and then having access to AI to help produce material and to make things clear in a complex world. That's turning out to be a real opportunity for us. And that was what that email that I sent out to the other guys was to kind of aware them of that potential if they wanted to participate. So, in conclusion, that's been my experience with AI, and it's an experience that is centrally located in the professional education services for coaching and teaching for investment and trading professionals. But it turns out that there's actually other applications, but the centerpiece of my consulting is in that area.
Yeah.
I'm finding it helpful with, I supervise doctoral students on their dissertations and masters, and it really does help me digest what they're trying to do and find ways to support them with resources. It's like I said, the trusted research assistant that gives me pretty good survey of the literature in order to know where to start from. It doesn't replace the human brain for creativity or that, but it does a terrific job of assembling pretty good support packages to begin the next stage of the journey with confidence. So if I can be of service with any of that to you guys, and if any of the things that I said here might be useful, for the HCU participants, especially if they're getting stuck, this thing has been a golden key from HCU in general, and now the addition of AI has been really a workhorse for me, and now it feels like it's on turbo.
Well,
So that's my
yeah,
quick story.
that's awesome. And it's very, very good to hear because we are about to we are updating currently as we speak at this very moment, all of HCU to include AI and prompts throughout its strategic times to help you with your ideal student, to help you with all those things that you just spoke about. And we've added an AI mini course to help students who may not be as familiar with it as you are to do exactly what you just described. So that's awesome. It really makes me feel good that we're on the right track because you've basically already done what we're about to do with the new cohort that starts the end of May.
Yeah. What part of Canada are you in?
Oh, the
Are you
East
Canadian?
Coast. No, I'm not in Newfoundland, but I am the East Coast. I'm Prince Edward Island.
Okay. Okay. It comes
Do
through.
I sound like a
It's
New?
it is no, no, you're speaking in complete sentences. So I know you can't be a newfie, if we can say that on a record. But it's music to my ears, by the way.
Oh, thank you. But
Well,
yes,
I guess yeah. Well, here's the thing. The point that I would make, as you're building that out, is to say, AI is very much like electricity to hand tools. There carpenters before electricity knew how to use a saw, and when you add electricity to that, you don't replace that knowledge, but what you do is you enhance it. You have to actually even be more careful because there's more ways to go astray.
yes,
And
exactly.
so when you have a solid end-to-end process, and then you add the electricity to it and turn it into power tools. It's even more important, in my view, to be well trained and almost, licensed and certified with a coach that can quickly help you develop the craft knowledge, because there's that much more to do. You still have to understand wood, you still have to understand dimensions and drawing, but now you've got a whole new set of tools that you have to learn in order to really become productive. And that would be, to me, the like strategic messaging that I would use throughout there. And frankly, you cannot compete today. Well, I can see this already. You cannot compete today without AI boost. You can't. You couldn't compete in engineering using the slide rule. You have to use computers and whatnot. So I would see that as, I'd pitch this as a mission essential skill set for the modern business.
Yeah. Oh. Lost you again.
Oops,
Oh, I
I
lost you.
bumped my camera.
Sorry, I bumped my camera a little.
That's okay. That's
Should be
okay.
back. Yeah, I bump my camera. Sometimes it'll when I get excited like that.
Yeah, so when you emailed Danny, was your original intent just to share this experience, or was there something more, partner?
I wanted to share the experience first,
Yeah.
and offer my validation of the process, and then no other preconceived notions. But I've been I've been an educator for grad students and adult learners for 25 years in a variety of settings, and curriculum designer and a um, you know
Yeah.
in
Well, you've
grad
been one of our
schools and
star students for sure.
doing my best to help the team.
Yeah.
So if you guys can think, if there's ways in which you think that I can be of service, I'm happy to help.
Okay.
I don't mind telling my story. You guys have been good exposure for me, but I also feel like it's an opportunity to help give back. The benefit that I've had from Miracy is that you guys have been great for me and my business, and I want to return the favor.
Absolutely. Well, we really
And
appreciate.
I am open to more partnering and stuff like that, but I'll figure
Okay.
that's a discussion for another day. I trust you guys to
Absolutely.
determine that.
Yes, and I know Danny and Abe will be watching this recording, and
Yep.
I'm sure they will take you up on that if they feel it is a fit. And I would imagine Abe would love to have a little chat with you about how you're using Rizuku as well.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that would be great.
I started a knowledge project with it, just since I know he's going to hear this. So I made a list of the 50 books that I've ever read that made my life what it is. I then asked the AI and GPT-4 with a little software booster to write a synthesis of that book, and in that synthesis, not just hit the high points of it, but to list 5 other books that I might read to go further into that same subject area. Turns out I have not read most of those next series of 5 books.
Wow.
So by having it write those book reports of 50, I now have a nice little personal library of things I can share with my students. But I also have the list of 250 books that I'm not going to have time to read, but
Right.
which I can then turn it into a book summary. So if you turn that into a template, what kind of template do you want for a book report? Well, how about asking the AI to scour the world and come up with its recommendation for the best book review template for a guy like me that's trying to achieve that objective? Then use that template with a batch file to list 250 book titles, and faster than thought, there's now an integrated synthesis. Now imagine that you could train a chat bot to be your untiring teaching assistant who would give its best answers from that body of knowledge as if it were you, but you're busy, but it will give you about an 80% solution. I actually did that for a podcast I was interviewed on from the UK, asked me to talk about how to manage fear and greed. So I just asked it the chat GPT and this little software. Hey, what are Ken Long's primary teachings on the management of fear and greed? 2 minutes later, I had a 2,000 word essay that mapped my body of knowledge pretty good.
Wow.
I added three or four more points, and now I had my show notes for that podcast.
Right.
So imagine if we can tune that into a personal assistant to have it do whatever it is that we wish we could do if we weren't so tired all the time.
Yeah,
So the
exactly.
so there's some potential in there for educators and for businesses, and also tuning in AI to help you with any business process that you have, especially even in the service industry. So anyway, just some ideas to just throw into the mix for Abe to listen to.
Absolutely. And
And the new Rizuku, I just upgraded to that thing. Holy mackerel, is that a win? It was a seamless upgrade, and it is so powerful and beautiful that it's you know commendations to his team for a great product.
oh, thank
I
you.
don't know why anybody would go anywhere else for a learning management system. I'll tell you what, I've tried them all. That thing is head and shoulders.
Well, there you go. We'll be grabbing that testimonial. But that's part of, we've actually included Rizuku in the new HCU. It's now integrated. So
Nice.
not like it's on the platform, but that students will be using Rizuku to build.
I saw so many people fumbling around, not fumbling around, but searching, for their own LMS solution. And you guys got such a winner right there. It just give it, guys, use this
Yeah.
and if you find a better one, use that. But meantime, use this world-class thing that's perfectly suited for you.
Yeah.
Just a pro tip. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm sure Abe will be super happy to hear that too. All right. Well, I think we have
Well,
lots.
that's everything I had for you, unless
Well,
you got
that's
other
awesome.
questions. Then
No, that was really what we just wanted to hear. And then I'll give this to Danny and Abe, and then they can follow up with you if they want, or we can.
Yep.
I'm sure there will be more directions coming along once they hear. Now,
Yep.
Danny is on vacation right now. He won't be back. So you probably won't hear from him till at least midweek next week, or even the end of the week. But but anyway, I will take this recording and hit reply, give it to everybody, and put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, if it's okay, if you could send me a link to the recording, because there may be some
Absolutely.
pieces in there I want to cut out and transcribe. Because that's the other thing that I found, is that once I get an idea and I tell a story, that's the best style of writing that I can use.
Yeah.
And then I can just take that and then have the AI transcribe and clean it up and organize it for me. And that turns out to be another powerful use of AI is that kind of eternal scribe and editor in stride. Now the AI doesn't replace your creativity, but it does all the other things for you with confidence that allows your creativity to express itself, because that other stuff is being taken care of. You actually can relax a little more and then do what you do best, which is to be creative. So
yeah,
it doesn't replace creativity. It simply supports it and leverages it. So that'd be my final message to the team.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Anyway, as soon as I have the recording processed, I'll send it to everyone in the email, including you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ken. It's been great to see
Take
you.
good care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.